guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I am so happy you found us, and if you've been here before, thank you for coming back. We are glad you're here. Today we are talking paper scraps. Paper scraps, paper scraps, and what can you do with them? So in particular, we're talking about how can you take all these little pieces of scrap paper and make them into something beautiful to use in journals, planners, mixed media, whatever you want to. So let's just jump right into this video because it's a good one and it's a great way to use up all your paper scraps. The first way is to cut your paper in strips, and you can cut thick strips like this, thin strips, and weave them like we used to do the placemats, and you get a really cool paper. And it can be page size like this. This is just on cardstock. I backed it with cardstock just to give it some structure. You could also put another woven paper scrap on this side too if you wanted to. That would be a cool look. Or you could leave it plain. That's totally up to you. But it's really cool like that. Besides using big scraps and big strips of paper, you can use thin strips of paper like this. And I use like a guest check, some coffee dyed paper, little scraps that I had laying around, and made like this small one. And you could put this on a page as a pocket, as a tuck spot. You could make it a small tag. You could do whatever you wanted to with it. It could just be decor on a page like this. You could trim it down and cut some of the extra off. You could keep making this a whole page. Totally up to you. No papers are off limits and no size is off limits. So you have two examples. One where this is like an inch wide strip, and this is like I think it was a 1/4 inch wide strip. They're both really cool, and they both make really unique pages, pockets, because even though I backed this one with cardstock, you could cut out a pocket on it if you wanted to, tuck spot. You could cut out the shape of a tag for it, whatever you want to do. Just be sure when you cut it out that they're all still going to stay in place. That's all you have to do. Now, when we are weaving them together, there's a little trick that you might want to do so your lines stay straight and don't wobble and get all crooked, and that's put every couple of layers that you do, like 3 layers down, put a dollop of glue and then keep going and put a dollop of glue. That way it's going to stay straight and you won't have anything too off in the pattern, okay? So these are super fun to do. I just use tape, double-sided tape actually, to hold them together. That way if I want to put a piece of cardstock on the back of this one so I can use it as a journaling card, I can do that. Or it's held together just nicely with the double-sided tape, only using one side. So it doesn't matter. So these are ways you can do this. Super simple. I know you know how to weave. I'm not going to bore you with that. Now, what else can you use all these strips of paper for? Well, you could make like a collage, or you could take bigger strips, bigger chunks, and kind of sew them together like a quilted pattern and kind of just layer them until you get the look you want, right? And something like that, and then sew them all together. And just kind of crazy sew them. And I'll go over to the machine and do that in a minute, and you'll be able to see how that looks. So that's another way. And these are just chunks of paper. I didn't cut them down to special size. I didn't even them out. As you can see, they're just chunks of paper that I'm going to stitch all together in some crazy pattern, whatever hits me while I'm stitching. And I'll have a great scrap page, pocket, or whatever. Use your imagination. Lastly, we can take these tiny strips of paper and just lay them on another strip of paper, okay? You can put them on white copy paper, tea or coffee stain paper, colored paper, whatever you want to do, and just layer them on the paper with glue. And that's what we're going to do next. And you can offset them and everything. You'll see. So for this manipulation of my paper scraps, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the small ones and stack them right there. And I'm going to push everything else out of the way. These are just all the paper scraps I have. And this is the one I'm going to sew in a little bit. But this is the one we're going to work with now. And what we're going to do is we're just going to come in and layer our paper down on this piece of yellow cardstock. And I'm just going to do it in whatever pattern kind of strikes me at the time, how I want it to look, that kind of thing. And I may not layer it all one way. I may kind of come in and do like a two-way pattern. I have my glue. You can use whatever glue you want. And guys, be sure and check out my links for that Elmer's Craft Bond glue. It's really inexpensive and it's really a great glue, especially if you do a lot of paper and fabric. And to save some time and stuff, I'm just going to use this. Now, you notice I just tore this scrap paper. I'm not going to make it all even. I'm just going to, I may get rid of this fold because I don't want that fold. I just want it to be all one. Okay, so there's my scrap piece. I just tore it. It doesn't have to be even. It doesn't have to be anything. It can be whatever you want it to be, okay? And then I'm going to put some glue down. I'm going to put my hot pink piece down. Okay. Then I'm going to come in with my guest check I have cut up here. I'm going to do it like halfway. And come in with, let's see here, some blue. Okay, guys, so here's what it looks like. We're going to trim it up, and as soon as I can find my scissors, I'm just going to trim all the pieces off hanging over the edge. There we go. How cute is that? Now, once it dries, because I used Elmer's glue, it'll be okay. I can come back and stitch on it too. So I'm going to show you that. So we're going to move over to the sewing machine. I'm going to take my other big scraps that I'm going to sew together. Let me get them all here. And we'll go sew this together and we'll sew on this as soon as it dries. So let's go. So what I'm doing is I've started sewing my bigger chunks together. You don't have to sew straight lines. You can sew in circles however you want. And you're just making cute pattern paper that you can turn into, you know, a pocket, whatever you want, really. It could be a pocket, a tuck spot, a journaling card. You could cut it up and make it, you know, whatever. I'm just using a straight stitch. You can use more decorative stitches if you want. Totally up to you. Okay, see, we're just creating something fun. And there you go. How fun is that? You can see we sewed all crooked. You could do decorative stitches or whatever. And this is our piece now. And we can, obviously, we're going to trim off this long blue part. And you can tear it or you can trim it with scissors, whatever you want to do. But there you go. Now you could use this as a crazy pocket. You could trim out a journaling card. You could trim out a tag of some sort, whatever you wanted to do. And of course, if you want to write on the back, you would probably want to back it with another piece of paper. But there you go. Great, colorful use. Lots of pattern, lots of movement. Super fun. Now, let's go back to the one that we glued and made this really cool pattern. You can come in here and add just a hint of stitching as well. I'm going to change my stitching to something a little more decorative, like that right there. And I'm going to stitch on the coffee stained strip. Okay, and I'm running out of my bobbin, but as you can see, I added just a decorative strip there. Let me change the bobbin real quick. Okay, we're back. I got my bobbin changed and I'm going to continue stitching on my coffee stained little strip of paper. And there we go. Look how pretty and what it adds. So you could add some more stitching like across here. So let's do that. And there we go. How cool is that? So it just adds some interest, and this is done. This one you could round your quarters, cut off this part, make a tag, you know, poke your hole, put your ribbon through it. It could be a pocket. You could put it this way on a page. It could be a journaling card, just right on the back. It could be a page itself. Just add an extender here to sew into the journal. This could be a lot of things. It could also be some type of index in your journal, whatever you want it to be. Okay guys, we're back and we have our little thin strips that we sewed onto a chunky scrap of paper and made this cool like pocket, journaling card, tag, whatever your imagination. Same with this, we took just the big chunks, didn't even them out or anything, sewed them all together, and you can cut this up, or you could use this as the side on your paper as a paper border, as a pocket, as a tag, as journaling card, as just decoration, whatever. Then we have our woven pieces, and this is the 1-inch woven. This could be actually 2 pages in a journal because you fold it, and you could put one on the inside too, or you could leave it like this. Now what would you do? You could put a clear pocket on this. You could treat it as any other journal page. It's just a surprise when they are flipping through. Then you also have this one, which we did out of tiny thin scraps. It could be just a page decor. It could be trimmed up to be a journaling card, a tag, pocket, all those good things. It could also be used as some sort of, cut down and used as some sort of tab at the top of your page or at the bottom. We all end up with tons of paper scraps, and being able to think of cool ways to use them so they don't get thrown in the trash is always good. Something else you could do, again, is when you have pieces like this that are small, don't throw them away. Make clusters out of them, okay? These little scraps are great for creating some type of cluster, and then you could put, you know, a button in the center or a paper clip on the back, anything like that. So don't throw it away, even the skinniest little bits, even if you have one this tall, don't throw it away because you can use it. The last thing you can do is with your thin strips or wide strips, take your strip, take some double-sided tape, just put it on the back, and then you have made your own unique paper tape to use. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure and give it a thumbs up. Also be sure and hit that subscribe button and that little bell. We have lots of videos coming. If you missed yesterday's announcement, we are moving back to Texas from California, so we will have a wonky schedule once our home sells, but it hasn't yet. So I will see you soon. And again, if you like this video, be sure and give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, that little bell. Also, leave me a comment down below. Which method of using paper scraps did you like the best? Just the big chunks, the small strips on a chunk, the big strips woven into a page, a journal page, or the small strips woven into like a decor piece for a page, journaling card, etc. Let me know down below which one was your favorite. Thanks for being here. Bye.